Previously on Ordinary Joe Show.
You dip, I dip, he dip, she dip, I dip, you dip, I dip, he dip, she
It's just another Ordinary Joe Show.
It was insightful. Did it change you to be a dad, like when your son was born?
It's just a different type of love where no matter what he needs, I got him. There's no, option, no question. So you just kind of learn that extra level of love for your little being.
It was encouraging, and that's very inspirational. What's the title of that song?
It was Stay Strong.
Stay strong.
Right.
Stay strong, carry on. It's very encouraging.
Right.
Like for someone who's struggling with whatever, financial struggle, and a lot of young people today, high school kids, college kids, so many of them goes through depression.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is a very, very uplifting, very encouraging song.
Right.
I felt like I'm led to go secular. The reason for that is I think that a lot of people don't realize it when they're actually doing God's work. Like you guys are not probably intentionally saying, "Oh, let's pray and let's offer this to the Lord," but unintentionally you didn't realize that you're actually helping a lot of kids.
Right.
Encourage them, uplift their spirit because the lyrics of your song. It was so much fun.
Pretty open to working with anyone. Work with my brother-in-law.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So
We gotta touch more about the
Manny
money. Manny Pacquiao?
No, no, Manny G. We call him. I couldn't forget to mention.
Sounds like a Filipino name. Is he Filipino? No, he's not.
Big, tall, skinny white guy.
dip, 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 dip.
Kris St. Clair, known as St. Kris.
Dip, 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 I dip, you dip, I dip, he dip, I.
Yeah, St. Kris. What I do to get by? I went one job, two job, day job, left from my night job, back to the day job. Yeah, I work a 9 to 5, then I work a 5 to 9. People say you crazy. I would say I'm on my mind. Yeah, I say yo kiddo, Taco Bell. I think I need a bigger box. I am running out of room to contain all my thoughts. I'm so.
Now let's continue on to St. Kris episode 2. Why did you call the very first album Extraordinary again?
The first project was called Extraordinary because I felt at the time when I was making hip-hop music, hip-hop was seen to be like this superstar. You had to be cream of the crop, $1 million, kind of this
bling bling,
everything.
Thug life.
Exactly. You had to be this, this person that's above everyone. So I wanted to be just true to myself, what I've seen, what I do, but just with a little bit extra. So it was ordinary and extraordinary,
Yeah, I remember a little extra effort.
That's right.
And then it kind of pushed you to the top.
That's right.
And that resonated really, really well with me because that's the same theme I'm kind of trekking along as well myself. For this segment, I want to ask you more on the business side now.
Okay.
A lot of young people want to be YouTubers or performers.
Right.
They want to be recording artists.
Right.
They know they got some talent. All their friends are telling them, their family telling them, you should. But there's so many obstacles. There's so many hindrances. In sales, before I got into marketing, I was in sales. In sales, we call it objections. Okay. Or in your own words, you were saying, last time I pre-interviewed you, you said excuses. Right, so this everybody I think everybody understand what we're talking about here. Objections, excuses. These are things that so many talents out there probably are. Unfortunately, there is a saying, an old saying that there's so many there's so many potential in the graveyard
Oh,
that
yeah.
were like unrealized potentials because people were too afraid to take a big step.
Right.
Right. So I want to ask this set of questions because I want to encourage our viewers who might have some inkling, have some talent that they want to explore and do some recording or publish whatever they have. How do you, when you are not yet, when you don't have a name for yourself, you don't have funding, you don't have sponsors, right? Everybody starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
So where does the money come from?
Your pocket.
Everybody, like,
You gotta work hard.
that's the thing. I think
Yeah.
everybody's just shedding out their pockets, and a lot of young people out there probably say it's not worth it, or they
Right.
just don't want, or they don't have the money.
Right.
But there's ways to get it. But can you speak a little bit about the financial capital? What do you think is? How did you overcome this hurdle in your own?
I think it starts off with making sure that you actually want to do this. Do you know what I mean? You
Yes.
have to. It's going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of time, and you have to sacrifice a few things. We kind of, for example, if you want to record studio time or a microphone, maybe you have to cut back on some of your other entertainment options, going to movies, whatever, buying junk food. And so if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way, and maybe you can't buy it, you have to rent it, or maybe you know a friend who, you just have to be resourceful, because there's always a way, especially now that everyone has a computer, and you know, you can always find a way to record music nowadays.
That's right. You can do as a very simple demo, I guess, in the beginning.
Yeah. Start small and then build your way up from there. But the first part is starting at all, right?
Touching back to that song that we're gonna play after this segment, Just to Get By. Did I get that title right?
You got it, yeah.
Sometimes I confuse myself, sorry. Just to Get By, you were talking about a lot of young people, they do their 9 to 5, and after that they do their 5 to 9.
Yeah.
Just working away, you know,
Yeah.
just to try and get by, just to do it. Were you working 9 to 5? Were you working full time when you first started with your music?
Yeah, that came at a time when I think I was working 3 jobs at the time.
So this is actually your story.
Oh,
This is like
straight up. I think I was working as a teacher's assistant, and then I was working at Respite in group homes.
Group homes, okay.
Overnight, and then I was also working part time in a photo lab. You know, just developing pictures for.
And on top
customers.
of that, you're writing your songs and
Oh yeah, writing my songs
Oh,
on
my
the
goodness.
drive to and from, or you know, during my shift. So
then recording it, collaborating.
Yeah.
Where do you find the time? Did you ever sleep?
you find, if you love it enough, you'll find the time. It's pretty interesting. The things that we're really passionate about, we find a way to squeeze in time.
That's very encouraging. I really think that's very encouraging to a lot of young people who want to get into production or recording arts. Because most kids, they see the end product, right?
Right.
They don't see the labor that comes
Right.
behind it. They just see the end product. They want to enjoy music. They want to enjoy this nice video music. But there's so much work behind.
For sure, ton of work, and it's kind of that saying: the overnight celebrity didn't become a celebrity overnight, because there's all that groundwork behind that we don't see, you know.
Yeah, they said the Japanese bamboo will develop the roots for many years, and then you think it grew overnight because when they start sprouting on the surface,
Okay.
you can actually hear them growing. There's like creaking sound. The Japanese bamboo.
Yeah. Okay.
But you think, wow, this is a fast-growing bamboo.
Right.
All of a sudden, you have a forest, but you didn't know underneath the surface.
Been growing for years.
It's been growing for years. It's
Yeah.
been rooting for years. And
Yeah.
a lot of artists have the same principle, right?
Yeah, of course. We have a song that I'm going to submit to Streets 104 and pray that I get on. If not, I'll submit another one and pray that I get on. Well, next entry into the little St. Kris documentary. Gonna submit some stuff to Streets. Made a little quick makeshift case. So the goal is to get on Streets, or at least get some consideration. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous as shit, even though this has nothing to do with nothing. I'm just handing it in, but my stomach is like growling. Round 2, Streets FM, trying to get the mixtape. Trying to get some mixtape on the radio.
Got the note, make it official. Round 2. See what happens. Wish me luck. St. Kris. I turn the lights down low when I write shit. No smoke, no dope, never like shit. Everybody online never like shit. Take aim, go bang, you just might hit. I bet he go mine, I bet he go mine. Cheap vid kid with incredible rhymes. Tryna get these people couple edible lines. Gotta reach new heights and unforgettable times. Like on stage with Cole. On stage before Cole, but still I got to go and open up my soul for a couple hundred kids that I never would've known. How funny is that? K-Town Kris made a funny little rap. Made a little money, now he found a new map that he tryna put his name on. Let me get my cape on. Superhero feeling taking off like an airplane. Reminiscing on the day I hit the airwaves. I remember walking up the stairways to meet Miss Melissa. Hi, I'm St. Kris and here's a couple songs I would like to submit. Looking back like those songs wasn't shit. Looking back like the songs felt legit, but that 2020 hindsight, the songs didn't fit. What a blessing in disguise. I admit it, yeah, it took a couple tries, but once I made it, man, it made it much better. Got me feeling like, damn, it's the best day ever. It's the best day. It's the best day ever. It's the best day. Can I hold on to the moment from now till forever? It's the best day. It's the best day ever. It's the best day. Can I hold on to the moment from now? What if my best day was yesterday? And now I'm feeling mighty stressed today. I mean it's feeling like a test today. The silver lining gets I'm on a new quest today. And let me take my time while I climb in my mind to the top of the hill. Jump off for the thrill, hit the ground, make a sound, even hurt my heel just to know that it's real. Everything I want I gotta save for. Every time I work I ain't paid for, but I hope it pays off and that I make more in the end. Spread word of mouth, friend to friend. But don't hassle nobody. Jump through hoops and shake your ass for nobody. Or give cash to nobody. Let's go by this. If they love me, and that a big best day. Best day ever. Best day. Can I hold on to the moment from now to forever? Best day. Best day ever. Best day. Can I hold on to the moment from now to forever?
St. Kris, Streets 104.7.
Bro, and it's Tuesday, so you know what's going down. It's 204 Tuesdays. Today, I got in my man St. Kris. What's poppin', homie?
What up, Winnipeg? St. Kris finally in the building.
Yeah.
In a nice warm building. It's been a long time coming, but we finally here.
I feel you. For people who don't know, who is St. Kris?
St. Kris is basically he's an extraordinary guy coming out of Kenora, Ontario, but living in Winnipeg now for the last 7 years.
Okay.
And is trying to do his thing in the hip hop world.
Arms wide open, west to the east. Kris on nice and please don't sleep.
I kind of identified 3 objections that most young people come across, and many of them, when they come across the very first one, which is the financial objection or the financial capital, that there's 2 more hurdles to go through, but on the first one they already give up on it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I identified 3 capitals that every artist or performer or creative artist needs to be willing to give.
Okay.
To get to that point. The first one is financial capital. They should be willing to give that. The second one is human capital, which is comprised of your time, your energy, and your emotions. And the third one is the artistic capital. Some people don't want to risk their artistic capital, right? But then a lot of young people come across the second hurdle, which is the human capital.
Okay.
So they think to themselves, do I have the time? Do I have the energy? Do I have? And a lot of people write a song because they got hurt, maybe. Mm-hmm. And they got inspired by that hurt. Or some people are in love and then they write a song. Yeah. They were inspired. Well, sometimes emotion can only last for a certain length of time, right? But to actually put it in recording, there's time and energy writing, collaborating, planning, storyboarding, planning the shoot, and some kids. How can you give them some advice how to manage this? If some of them are using this as an excuse or using this as like an obstacle, they can't seem to overcome this particular capital.
Right. I would say, in my experience, my best songwriting or creating came when there has been an extreme emotion happen. So either really sad, really happy, really mad. Yeah. And so I think if you're struggling with that, you should just view it in a different light as an opportunity. To write something down. If you can just find a pen and pencil, or everyone has their phone, just write down anything for that 10 minutes. Just figure out, and you'll find when you look back at it, you created something you didn't even know you had. So I think overall, just don't let, if you want it bad enough, just force your way to do it, and eventually it'll become more natural. Because if you keep finding excuses, you'll always find excuses not to do it.
Can you tell our viewers that story again about you writing your music in between drive to...
Oh, yeah, it just became... So I had a 20-minute drive to work, and 20-minute drive home or to my next job. So that I looked at it as 40 minutes. I'm in the car by myself with music on. It was the perfect time to try and write, more lyrics or figure out song structure. And so it was just... it's just an example that you can always squeeze in more time to make music. Yeah. So anytime I was in the car, I was writing music, and then eventually you're working on your brain capacity to remember these, right?
And sometimes the best music come from under pressure.
Yeah, of course, I guess, right? Of course.
Because I think a lot of young people think when they see all these A-listers from Hollywood, all the nice end product that they watch, they think, oh, these guys, they go to this nice posh room. They have a piece of paper, nice ambiance, coffee is being served, and now they're gonna write their music. Yeah. It doesn't always happen like that.
That's right. It's funny. Everyone has their own way of writing. Some people like to be in that studio with other people, just humming out lyrics or melodies, and some people, like myself, I write better when I'm alone or doing something else. Writing or have TV on mute, and I'm just sitting there thinking, or
Did you write all of your music?
I write all my music. Yeah.
How does it start for you? Like, so you mentioned earlier, sometimes you just have a thought because a certain experience. Right. You write down one line, and
sometimes I hear music and it makes me think of an idea, and then I just run with that idea. Sometimes I think of what I think is a clever rhyme, and then I'll just build off that rhyme, and it keeps snowballing. So it kind of happens in all different ways. That's what I was born to do. I'm about to. That's what I was born to do. A couple bad jokes and a couple black jokes. Man, I found a couple people that thought I was mad dope. All they did for the dream was add hope. They helped me climb, they were my ladder and rope to the top. I'm rising, don't stop, surprising these people when you tell them the stories about their lives, and they know it. They can't help but relate, but you can't help them all, man. They can't help but hate, so let's stop. Let it all marinate, air it out, let it all ventilate, How you feel now? Oh, hella great. Trying to work till we all celebrate and elevate until we reach the pearly gates. I think I'm here now, they thinking that I'm pretty late, but I remind them this is not about the time to shine. This is about me clearing my mind.
Well, I'm gonna ask you for an advice, right? Because I want to learn how to write comedy. Okay. This morning I was having breakfast. I think I saw you. Did you buy your breakfast at A&W? I saw you walking away.
No comment.
No, I was having shape. I was having my breakfast at Tim Hortons, which is I'm adding more calories on. I don't want to be left behind. I'm on a race with another. And so I sat down. It happened that there's a bunch of TTC operators. I don't know if they're drivers, but a bunch of them sitting down right beside me. Initially, there's just one of them. And I sat here. I didn't know I'll be sitting beside a big bunch of, a big group of TTC operators. Okay. And I can't help but hear that they're outdoing each other, trying to tell their funny story. Okay. I can't hear the whole detail, but you can hear sort of like the beginning of a story. Oh, me and my wife last weekend, blah, 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 blah. And then one person tell their story, the other one will try and outdo. Oh, that's nothing.
Okay,
well, me and my brother was like, you know how people are just naturally funny, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
And people are naturally want to make each other laugh.
Right.
I think it's the same in music.
Yeah.
People are just naturally want to encourage each other or say something about what they feel.
Yeah, to try and help the other person go through what they're going, or bring that person to a time that they had that they can relate to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, we were talking about some techniques. I didn't know much about hip hop before I interviewed you. So that's why I was kind of worried, because I said, how would this interview flow? Because I got nothing hip hop in me.
Right.
I knew nothing. I wasn't deep. I heard about hip hop a little bit before. I kind of like it to listen to it. The hip hop style that I know is Will Smith from Fresh Prince of LA. So very nursery rhyming. You know, very. It's not like the thug, very fast.
There's
it's
different subsections of hip hop.
It's sort of like easy. So that was my impression. My impression was, oh yeah, pop music. It's a new pop music. When I first heard rap, and I thought I did a little bit of research with Tupac Shakur and Biggie, and watching the documentary, I learned how so many things has to fall in place. Yeah, like lyrically and their art, they collaborate. There's so many things in producing rap music. My initial impression was it's so easy because it's just like nursery rhymes in a nicer beat. But it's not. There's so much. So it's not as easy as you think, right? So
no, when it comes, I think maybe the general impression of hip hop is that it's just, you know, you're just rhyming words and that's so easy, and then you put a beat. But there's, just like any other genre, there's timing, there's lyric, there's double
techniques.
There's techniques. It's basically poetry, right? And within poetry, there's metaphor, simile, you know, alliteration. There's so many aspects to writing the music that it's not just a simple, you know, go slow mo show. It's not just rhyming the words.
It's interesting you mentioned double entendre. The first time I come across that technique was in learning how to write comedy. Right. So it's interesting that it's present in comedy writing, but it's also a technique in hip hop, right? Right.
It's just it's a way to manipulate the English language, you know, to be clever and witty and add some depth to what you're saying.
Awesome. Depth. I like that. Yeah. The last question I want to ask you is, a lot of young people don't want to risk their artistic talent. Okay. What I mean by that, they know they have some sort of genre or their own shtick or their own specific style. Some of the new style we've never seen before. Right. And they're very new in pop music too. What's it? Sia? Yeah, it's just very unique. Her style is very unique. It's not something that you've heard before. Right. But so there's probably a lot of young people who have their unique style that they're keeping to themselves right now. They don't want to risk it because it's unorthodox. It's never been heard before. Right. They don't know if it'll be appreciated. Right. So there's two things. It's either they want, if they're gonna roll out with their style, they want to go big, or else somebody will steal their style, or don't show anybody. You know, there's a risk. So is that?
It's I know what you mean. That part is hard. Sometimes guys in hip hop right now are being accused of stealing other people's style.
Yeah. So how do you overcome that?
That part is, you just have to. I don't know the full answer to that one, but I would say there's two kind of beasts in music right now. It's either you do what's trending so that you can make money and make a way to it. Yeah. Or you can do what you do, you're original, be authentic, and do it so well that it becomes popular. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And to me, I think that would feel better, but then it comes kind of into contact with the financial capital you're talking about. That's right. Because you know, making money is so important to everyone. So it's a pretty hard battle. Do what makes you feel good, but I enjoy making music that I I'm proud of, and so I struggle to enjoy music where I don't think the person is being authentic with themselves.
Yeah, but yes, exactly. But I think also there's some sort of balance that some performing artists have to kind of play in.
Yeah,
because the money is important.
It's part of the business game of it. You have to make, in my experience or my opinion, you have to make some music that follows a little bit of the trend if you want to be on the radio, for example.
But also, if you're doing with the trend, you're not exactly copying them. There might be a certain trend, but you have your own version of that trend.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you can do that, that's great. But I think some just try to take the cookie cutter of that trend.
Yeah.
So if you could take the trend and spin it your own way,
that's right.
creativity.
Yeah, put your own little spin on it, and that's still creative. That's still your own.
That's admirable for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the beast of art, of all those capitals encompassed in one.
That's right. Because if you have an investor, the investor wants to see a return on their investment.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
And getting that return on investment means you get invited to concerts, invited to gigs, invited to radio shows, get promoted and sell more record.
Right.
And it's safe to follow the trend, but at the same time, when there's a trend, I don't think they fully saturated everything that can be done with that trend, and so you can put your spin. Bruno Mars, I like him. I kind of think he has some style of Michael Jackson. Do you see that?
I agree with that for sure.
But it is his own.
His own, and that's the key thing,
right?
Yeah.
So Bruno Mars is his own thing. But if you really look closely, there's some Michael Jackson in there.
Because that's the neat thing is nothing comes. I mean, we're all just remixing ideas from back in the day, but putting our own spin. Everything is inspired by someone else, right?
That's right.
So I bet even Bruno Mars has said at some point he's inspired by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not
I guess,
at all.
But there's a little bit of, because that's your inspiration. As long as you make it your own.
Make it your own. That's the key thing. Yeah.
And that concludes our interview, and this is an awesome interview. But before we go, we want to talk a little bit about the video we're showing right now.
Okay.
We can start it right now.
Okay.
Just to get by, can you tell me a little bit about the inspiration? You can also touch on some of the technical, because this was shot in Walmart. How did you do all these?
They should pay us. Just to Get By was the song that I wrote that was, as we kind of mentioned, describing how hard I felt I was working just to get by, just to pay bills, just to make a little bit of music, just to pay gas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all these things. So it kind of came from the inspiration that just work hard, just keep at it, and something great will happen. And then the video happened with a couple of good friends who said, we were just hanging out one night and said, do you want to shoot a video? And so they had an idea.
So it was not pre-planned,
not this
major
video,
plan.
No, this one was.
But it turned out really good.
It was really fun. We just went in Walmart and did.
So was that a GoPro on a shopping cart, or?
We used the shopping cart. We filmed the security camera, and just,
that's like me.
Yeah,
the security camera. That's the only time.
Appearance, yeah. And that was it. And then we didn't get in trouble, and only one Walmart employee saw us, but they didn't seem to care. So yeah, that was a fun video.
Very creative and very, low budget. Like what we're saying, it doesn't have to be like big trucks from White. What do you call that?
Oh yeah, the rental trucks.
The rental trucks.
It doesn't have to be a Hollywood production. If you make it creative and it's original and at least a decent quality, I find people will go to it. Look at some of the viral videos out today.
I think that that should inspire all the young people who's listening to us today, and that should kind of trigger them to make that big step. Don't be shy. You can make mistakes. There's nothing wrong making mistakes.
That's right.
Even if you publish something that's not perfect, the idea is get your thing out there.
Just learn from it and make it better next time and keep moving forward.
And before we close, thank you very much. This is awesome. This was fun.
Thanks a lot.
And how did I do? Is that a good credential for me now?
That we can add to your credentials.
Okay, awesome. Now this is not. So I have something to say. Hey, after that job interview, now I have a real interview under my belt.
There we go.
Awesome.
We all start somewhere, right?
Exactly. And this is the very first one. It should be a template for all.
St. Kris. What I do to get by? I went one job, two job, day job, left from my night job, back to the day job. Yeah, I work a 9 to 5, then I work a 5 to 9. People say you crazy, I would say I'm on my mind. Yeah, I say yo kiddo, Taco Bell, I think I need a bigger boxer. I am running out of room to contain all my thoughts. I'm so outside, I ain't never been in. Now I'm looking at the mirror like I'm better than him. With that Filipino blood and that black ass skin, with a flow so cold, I call it Alaskan. Yeah, talk that shit that I ain't as good, but then I let that shit go like I ain't as should. I mean, how am I gonna make it if I listen to the doubt of some people that don't know me? You know what I am about? Well, board game, son, get a clue. Saint did it in a bedroom without a booth, just a MIC and a CPU. Man, I know you see the skill, do you see me too? I'm the same old kid from the neighborhood. Man, I'm doing what a lot of people wish they could, but they lack all the time and the talent. And this is my flow, I know because I found it on that Finders Keeper shit. Yeah, my flow is deep as shit. The people don't believe it till they see it, so compete this shit. Yeah, St. Kris spit it the truest, and there's a lot of people that know him but don't know we do this. So make a choice, either make some noise or just play it for your hometown girls and boys, because I know I won't lie, I need a big name to come and co-sign, cause the people don't care about your name till you're famous, but we all the same, so I really can't blame us. Yeah, yeah, you know what's true, no one's really listening to locals, that's how it works, till we famous. St. Kris.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just I'm forgetting. It's just another ordinary Joe show. It's pretty long. I forget my own show. Okay. It's just another ordinary Joe show. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just another ordinary Joe show.